Is Jada the root of all Will's problems?
No. Everybody used to say that Bobby was Whitney's downfall, and then later we find out that it was Whitney who introduced Bobby to the life of drugs.
I don't know about that.
I see this clip from J.R. Smith. He's in an interview, and he was saying how influenced we are when we become successful to keep up with everybody else.
Who's gonna stop us? We got the money. We don't have the mindset. So we'd rather go throw $60,000 in the club, in the strip club. Go throw $60,000 than go feed 2,500 people in the hood. Why? Who am I impressing?
And he was like, and I've been guilty. Like, I have been that guy throwing $60,000 in the club, and then moments after, like, why would I do that? And that just brings me back to your point about the peer pressure.
It's very important to watch how we're being influenced, and I think there's probably 3 ways to go about it. You can be influenced in a negative way by negative people. You can be influenced in a positive way by positive people. But if you just get away from everybody, then you're only being influenced by you.
If you're the one in your group, if you're the leader, you could literally be influencing your circle to gossip all day, smoke hookah all day, or read books and improve yourself. Age is literally nothing but a number. If we want to be billionaires, we can. Coaching is really the cheat code. If you cut through and filter through millionaires, a lot of them have coaches, a lot of them have mentorships, a lot of them have just figured it out on their own, so they think. You just have an opportunity now where, whether you want to or not, you can collapse the time frame.
Welcome to the Social Proof Podcast. Me and Donni are here. Nothing is that bad.
Ever.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if I say ever, but nothing right now is that bad. Most things aren't that bad. That's better than saying nothing.
Give me something that's that bad. Well, I guess we have to define what that bad is, meaning that bad like I want to end it all, like that bad like I am just falling into a tailspin of depression.
That's really bad.
So tell me something that is that bad.
Oh, so the thing is, I think that if I identified something that's that bad for myself, I wouldn't be here. Nothing for me has been that bad. Like, everything has been figure outable or adjust withable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, some things you can't fix, but some things you can just adapt to. I would, some people would think that losing someone close to them is worth ending it all. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? You didn't. So I don't know what's that bad. It's also culture specific. Like, I know in a lot of different cultures, like, men who are unsuccessful and can't provide for their family, that is considered like major shame, and they end it all.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you're in a Shawshank Redemption, y'all see that movie? Shawshank Redemption?
Isn't that where he was in the hole the whole time?
No, I mean, my man kept getting
I saw it, but I never remember movies.
Oh,
so
man.
Remind me.
Yeah, he kept getting taken advantage of. He be trying to fight him off, but they just kept ramming him. No, I mean, a Shawshank Redemption, no?
What's been up with you lately?
You don't remember? No, so remember he was like fighting him off, and like it went on for a little while in the movie.
What's
he
been
was
up
locked
with you
up
lately? Yeah, like.
No, I'm thinking of a that bad scenario, or
is that bad though?
Yeah, being locked up in prison, you can't go anywhere, and you're being sexually abused. Absolutely, that's that bad.
Repeatedly.
Unless I'm thinking of another movie, but I'm pretty sure that was Shawshank Redemption.
I don't think that was Shaw. I don't know. So I know the movie is so old, probably like 20 years old, 15, 20 years old. And I'm not a person who remembers movies until I see it again, unfortunately.
Let me see, sister. Yeah. Did Andy get raped by the? Maybe. Yeah. Absolutely, that was it. So, but my point is, and maybe that's one of the things that stuck out in my mind, because sexual abuse has always been a real trigger for me, like watching it. I couldn't even, one of the most memorable scenes in a movie for me was What's Love Got to Do with It, where they were in the studio, she was recording, and he didn't like whatever she was talking about, and he beat her and raped her by the fish tank. So like physical abuse, sexual abuse are some of the things that are like the worst things in the world to me. I just saw an article where somebody got arrested for slitting the throat of their child.
Their newborn. It was a 16-year-old girl. She had a baby in her bedroom, and her parents came home to blood all over the walls, and her dad walks in her room, sees the blood immediately, and she just looks up at her parents and says, "He's gone, I killed him." And he goes in her closet. She put the baby in a dog food bag, rolled it up, put it in her laundry basket to hide it.
There's something so sick about that.
She is 16 years old. Not only did she slit the baby's throat, the slit throat was the kill shot. She stabbed her baby several times and then slit its throat.
There's literally there's something really, really sick about that.
And I believe in ending it all for people like that. I don't know about ending it myself. You know what I mean? But I do think that death is a fair consequence to something like that.
Yeah, I think about this on a regular basis, and my heart starts to drop because my kids are very unruly. They just do whatever they want. They do their own thing, right? So, I mean, Sarai could be yelling, Psalm just be yelling, and I could imagine somebody in a different scenario being so frustrated. Now, me, I am patient because it's not that bad. It's a child who wants something, right? So I have the patience to kind of just, I love them with all my heart, but there are other parents out there that they abuse children. Mm-hmm. They do vile things to children. I saw another thing on Instagram where the babysitter or somebody kept putting the kid's hand in the bottle warmer, and it was burnt to the bone of a baby
at daycare, and tried to tell the parents that she did it herself. It was but
oh my gosh.
When she went to the hospital and I have a whole lot of questions around that scenario because the child had indications of repeat abuse. So as a parent, are you not paying attention? And I don't know if it required an x-ray to identify the abuse, but I do know that daycare, it's on video. She was literally taking her hand and intentionally sticking it in the bottle warmer, taking it out, sticking it back in, taking it out. And what is wrong with people? What's wrong? Like the 16-year-old boy this week, 16-year-old kid who was scheduled to get he was in jail. He was scheduled to get out of jail like in a week or so, did something minor. And his parents got a call that he had been rushed to the hospital for an overdose. When he gets to the hospital, the doctors confirmed that there were no drugs in his system. He was raped to death. They were selling him in jail. I just saw this story yesterday. They were selling him in jail, and they sodomized him and tortured him to death. That person is, 22 years old. And now they're because at that point, like, guards have to know this isn't a quiet offense. You know what I mean? And so now the parents obviously want answers. I think people who do and allow stuff like that, you can end it all for them.
100%.
Yeah.
In these situations, for the person that's being abused or the person that's like having these things done, that's when it becomes that bad. It's where it can throw you into a tailspin of depression, right? But for all of the things that we go through on a regular basis, let's say as entrepreneurs, or if you have your basic necessities and nobody is doing things to you physically, intentionally, then I don't think it ever gets that bad. We can get over it, but I believe that that bad is going to be dependent upon the person.
The person.
And how they can stomach certain things. I was at the gym the other day. I can't make this stuff up. I'm at the gym. It's this little light-skinned kid, right? And this big, husky, like muscular black guy. And we're playing basketball. They're guarding each other. The big black guy gets so furious and he wants to fight. Like, nah, what's up? Da, da, da. We're like, and the kids, he's like, yo, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about right now? I guess the guy kept fouling him. Not intentionally, but it is what it is. So it happens again. The guy, remember, the big black guy, he goes to his bag and gets a blade.
You're there?
I'm there. This was Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happened, I said, yep, that's my cue to leave. I don't need to be a part of none of this. The other dude's like, nah, come on, look, he's gonna be fine. He goes to get a blade. First off, that tells me that dude can't fight at all. You know what I mean? Like, you're way bigger than the guy. Now you gotta go get a blade. And in your mind, why don't you think I could quite possibly do something that lands me in jail for the rest of my life? Was the person playing defense on you, is it that bad, bro?
Is it that bad?
What's up with you?
Yeah, people, as I'm thinking about this is an interesting conversation because something came across my timeline. Actually, someone DM'd me this yesterday, that person that I share memes with back and forth, like on Instagram. And what I have realized is I can't. Like, don't send me memes that, like, I have to put rules on the memes and the videos, not just the memes, but also the videos that I'm being sent, because yesterday, someone sent me the video that's going around now about Will Smith and his best friend and assistant of 40 years.
I saw that.
Interviewing with that Tasha K girl, Tasha K, whatever her name is.
First off, I rock with Tasha K. Okay, she was very, very entertaining, but she's a comedian. You know what I mean? That's the one that Cardi B sued.
You think she's funny?
The ones I saw, I think she's funny.
I've never seen her crack a joke, actually.
It's all jokes aimed at celebrities.
So what I saw yesterday, I saw in the comments, it wasn't even the video. So there's this video and his ex-best friend, former assistant, is exposing him, like telling all his business and that he caught him in the act with Dwayne Martin.
Yeah.
Dwayne Martin having...
he was going to weird parties with Dwayne Martin, or bringing him to weird
He
sex
actually
parties.
explained a sexual scene.
Yeah. I didn't watch that.
He's in this video describing what it looked and sounded like, right? And somebody commented on the video and said, y'all are just not going to learn until this man takes his own life.
Will?
Mm-hmm. Basically, because they're saying like, yo, he's going through it. And every other week he's in the blogs for something different and taking, shots at his kids, taking shots at his wife, taking shots at him, taking shots at him and him and him. And now this man is literally using words like, he was killing it too. It's not funny.
I'm not laughing.
You actually are.
That's
right?
not funny.
I was so...
Hold on, who was killing it? No, I'm serious. Who was killing it?
First of all, this guy, I just like people who will betray you in that way after 40 years of friendship. Like, you are a trash human being. I don't care if I didn't physically harm you, if I didn't rob you, put your family or you in danger, there's no reason to just expose a person on that level. And you didn't get the response that you thought you would get. Nobody will ever get close to you ever again. Nobody will hire you. You're not going to be the next celeb's personal assistant after doing something like this. But it wasn't even that. It was that one comment that said, y'all just won't stop until Will takes his life.
That's a real scenario. That's real.
It was that comment. Like, because at this point, we've heard the rumors for years, right? Whatever that man does with his body is on him. Are we nosy as a society and we want to know? Sure. But to the degree of now we have to worry about how intact his mental health is, that's just crazy to me. And it just led me down this rabbit hole. Like, people say mean things all the time. Like, every time we drop a podcast, under the comments, people got something mean to say, about me. And I just have this really thick skin that whatever, I might be bothered enough to comment back, right? But not bothered enough to like end my life. The comments just don't matter like that. But there are people who are at a level that are much higher, much more public, that we're speaking to these people who are leaders or who are in the forefront and on display, and just not even thinking about the end cause of it. Yeah. But then everybody's going to say, rest in peace, or I'm so sorry, or you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have said that. But what's up with checking ourselves and like actually monitoring ourselves in real time and watching what the heck we say about like people? Just there are no rules anymore.
Yeah, but it's not like it's not a single person that needs to check themselves. It's like, especially in the comment section, some people might think it's funny, but it's a whole tide. This blog catch it, that blog catch it, and they're essentially doing their job, right? So I think people need to look at that and say, well, do you really want to be a target? Do you really want to be a celebrity? No matter, he's had a really clean career if you think about it. He gave us Fresh Prince and Summertime. Who don't like
Bad
Summertime?
Boys.
And Bad Boys.
You know what I thought about too before I even saw that? A couple days ago, I'm riding, me, Lemire, and Milan are driving from Palm Springs to LA. Mm-hmm. We have to get to the airport. And Lemire's like getting sleepy, so I start driving.
Why Lemire always getting sleepy?
Lemire,
always sleepy.
Lemire is sleepy.
Every picture, like, especially if it get late, Lemire just be sleepy. Shouts out to Lemire, man.
I like him so much. He's such a dope entrepreneur. We're driving down the expressway, and I'm in control of the music, right? So I'm just going through trying to find like songs to bop to, and I'm listening to 90s music, and I think like there's something that pops up with Will Smith on there, and I'm like, yo, I haven't heard, Summertime pops up on Pandora. And I'm like, I didn't hear this, not Pandora, my Apple playlist. I hadn't heard that song one time all summer. Remember, it was not summer until you heard Summertime
100%.
play. And I think maybe it has something to do with what happened with him and Chris Rock. Maybe he's banned. I don't know his music, but I didn't hear that song play one time on radio waves all summer.
That brings up a good point, though. So maybe, just maybe, Will Smith attacks an innocent person, and in the eyes of the world, he becomes a villain. And nobody feels bad about attacking the villain. He's
been a villain before, like in the eyes of the
Since
world.
When?
They've been like,
it's never been. It seemed like over the last couple years, they've attacked him, Jada, because Jada got on Red Table Talk. Before Jada was on Red Table Talk and started talking about all of the stuff that they got going on and how she was with August. The entanglement and all that kind of stuff. People loved Will.
People still do love Will. I still love Will. I don't care what his sexual preferences are.
But what I'm saying is, from that moment, it seemed
they had been calling them the Hollywood weird couple, and it was more of their sex life that was on display
Not
in a Target.
Weird couple, but they did say they'd be swinging.
No, they were actually calling them a Hollywood weird couple for like how they raise their kids and how free spirited they are. They were saying that they were weird. They had weird stuff going on and all kinds of stuff. This assistant is on with Tasha talking about how anybody who wants to be connected to them, they send them to a rehab facility. Before, like, even if they weren't on drugs, they had to go to this rehab facility and all of this stuff. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. And this, and I will say this, I only saw snippets of the interview, but I did see that Tasha wasn't necessarily the one leading this conversation the way she had normally. She was more like, oh, wow, what happened?
Oh my God.
Wow. She wasn't, doing what she was doing. So I will say, from that perspective, I at least appreciated that. And I guess we just have to accept that that's just the type of reporter or media she is.
Is Jada the root of all Will's problems?
No.
No?
No. Jada and Will formed a union.
Yes, they did.
And, this reminds me very much about how Whitney and Bobby, everybody used to say that Bobby was Whitney's downfall. And then later we find out that it was Whitney who introduced Bobby to the life of drugs.
I don't know about that. But yeah, okay, cool.
Listen.
Maybe. No, not the bodyguard. She wasn't.
She wasn't what?
They was both getting high, but I don't know who.
They were both getting high.
I don't know who introduced who, though. That's debate.
Later, that's what the rumor became. I think that it's really, nobody was saying that it was Jada's fault with how they raised their kids or what their sexual preferences were until she did Red Table Talk. And in Red Table Talk, she started sharing more and more and more. But a long time ago, Will had already written a book. And in that book, he said that he had many regrets. And part of his regret was how he treated his family. And now the relationship that he has with his family due to his own narcissistic ways and this, that, and the other.
Before or after Jada?
Before.
We don't know that.
That's what he said.
He didn't read the book. He didn't say before Jada. He probably said how he treated his family.
No, how he treats them.
Yeah, but it could have been you have these situations where she enters this man's life, and then everything just starts to happen, man. You begin to change. Maybe she started introducing him to the swinger parties, and now they're the weird couple.
Or maybe they are just two grown people who made grown decisions together.
This is true.
Like they could have been exposed to stuff together. I don't know that. It's so hard because on one hand, you just got to be tougher than that. Like you couldn't come into my life and be my friend and introduce me to cocaine.
I could.
No, you.
Yes, I could.
No, you can't.
Yes, I could.
To the point where I would do it?
Maybe.
I wouldn't. I'm stronger than that. I have no interest in snorting. You smoke cocaine or snort it? Neither? Oh, okay.
Either.
I have no.
How you know?
Now y'all need to
Because she was like don't tell my business.
Actually, you got to put it in the thing. Then you make sure it's the right temperature. Like, how you know?
Yeah, no, but nobody. I mean, people have pushed things in my face over the years.
Yes.
I could be a completely different person if I said yes to a bunch of stuff that you cannot get me to say yes to unless I want to.
You've never, ever been peer pressured into doing something that you otherwise wouldn't have done.
Yeah, so I've only been peer pressured into doing stuff that wasn't that dangerous. Like you can't peer pressure me into doing something that I think is going to fry my brain. I'm not doing it. And anything that I did that was risky.
You'd have tried it.
No.
Yes, you would, because it's new.
Anything I did that was risky, I already had some pre-curiosity about.
Right. So
I already had, which means that you didn't make me do it. You put me in a situation to satisfy a curiosity I already had.
I had an example, but then it seems like over the last couple of weeks, all of my exampos have been like hypersexual.
Short.
No, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Were you
man.
about to talk about pimping?
No. But being pressured into doing something that you otherwise wouldn't have done. So, okay. So there have been scenarios in college, right? Where I'm with a group of people, group of my friends, and then we meet a group of ladies. And I don't necessarily like the one that I'm paired with. Yo, what's up with y'all? This is a serious story. I'm not necessarily interested in this one. However, when everybody goes off to do their own thing and there's been liquor and whatever involved, I remember a time thinking to myself, I don't want to do this. I took one for the team. Because if I don't, now the pressure of, like, I'm supposed to. Like, as men, we are supposed to. This is what we do. And she's more than willing, and I'm like,
Wait, you actually like smashed?
Yeah, I mean, but we're in young. You have to.
No, you don't.
You have, and look at all the ladies saying, no, you don't. You don't have to. J-Star, you got to. Especially like we're younger, right? So in this scenario, y'all should see the women's faces in this room. The judgment, fix your face, with the. It's one of those things as a young. There's pressure attached because you don't want what you gay. Oh, you ain't like. It's
you
pressure.
have to be strong and tough enough to say, no, I ain't gay, but I'm also not desperate.
I am strong, and
but
I'm
you're
tough.
also
However,
non-confrontational.
But I'm just saying, everybody has maybe been influenced to do something. Maybe it was a bad idea, and after you're like, I don't know why I did that. I've been influenced to steal stuff. I've been a good kid. I've been influenced to steal stuff.
You wanted
I've been influenced
to
steal. To sell. Huh?
You wanted to steal.
No, I didn't want to steal.
You wanted the thing. You wanted the money. You wanted all these things.
There have been situations where I've done it because that's what everybody's doing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have too. But what I said, like again,
what I said was, you've done some cocaine.
I'm not doing anything that is going to kill me because of peer pressure.
But in the moment, you don't think it's going to kill you.
No, I've always known that crack kills.
Or as a child, whatever the thing is that you're doing isn't as bad as being ridiculed by the people that you love, respect, that you're with every day. There are some kids that are being picked on by some kids that it doesn't they're not going to change or affect your life in any way. But because I want to prove to them that I'm not what they say I am, I'll go to the extreme.
Yeah.
It's a law of environment.
Listen, it happens.
Donnie didn't want to do a podcast.
That is true. No. That's true.
Reese, how long did this go on? Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying I'm the whole reason you did a podcast.
You are.
But if I wasn't as adamant about it, you may have not done it. You may have not done it for a while. You might be doing whatever you're doing and become, super successful at it. But there are situations where if you are in an environment long enough, you're willing to do things that you otherwise wouldn't have done.
Mm-hmm. But this wasn't going to kill me. You feel me?
Cocaine doesn't kill everybody. Especially, check this out. Think about, for one, it doesn't necessarily kill everybody. Look at all the parties in LA. It's cool. This is what we do. They're not thinking, I'm about to do this.
Yeah, they got weird stuff happening in Hollywood, yo. I used to want to be a famous musician.
You'd have been at the party
for years. I wanted it so bad. I wanted to be famous so bad. I also wanted to be a child star, right? And I knew as a young parent, people would approach me all the time to get my daughter to audition for Disney or modeling. Nah, we good. Because I saw even early on then, we're not putting you in a situation. I'm not putting my child in a situation at 3 and 4 years old to grow up to be the next kid that can't function as an adult because people can't now see you outside of that child role. And now you feel however you feel. It's so much pressure to be great.
My daughter wrote a rap the other day.
Sarai wrote a rap?
Corey.
Oh, Corey wrote a rap? Oh, Corey wrote a rap?
So cute, right?
I can get her in the studio.
No. In my mind, I automatically think, I wonder where that comes from. I don't know. And this is nothing wrong with being a musician, right? But the only thing I could think of was there's possibly some influence somewhere, and I don't know what the influence is, and that scares me.
Because I will tell you, when I was rapping at 18, 19, 20 years old, my influence was not Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah was highly influential. Mm-hmm. I loved her music. I sang her songs.
It wasn't UNITY.
But I was not rapping about UNITY, all right? Yeah. Scary. How easily, you're right, how easily influenced you can be. But also at the same time, I think we got to do a better job at and people say this every time somebody has like a horrific death. We got to do a better job at watching our mouths. We just got to do a better job at being intentional. Also, something great that we can do with our influence. I was watching, tell me who this person is. I don't know who this basketball player is, but I'm sure you're going to know who he is. I saw this clip of him today, and I was just, who's that?
What's the dude they played for the Knicks? No, Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen.
No.
Okay, go up front. You get out.
J.R. Smith. Yeah, J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith. So I was watching this clip from
the memes about J.R. Smith. Oh my gosh.
Is it funny?
Yeah. Like you say, he came to the games drunk. Like just, I've been taught like championship games, just out here. But shouts out to J.R. Smith.
Well, maybe I won't.
No, okay, tell us. Sure.
So I see this clip. Someone sends me this clip today, and it really was so powerful.
Look kind of like Scottie Pippen, though. You're right.
He doesn't look anything
a little bit.
Scottie
A little
Pippen.
bit. He did look a little bit like Scottie. He
This
looked
man?
a little, yeah, because Scottie got his hair like that now, don't he? Yeah, he does. Yeah, Scottie got his hair like that. Okay, go ahead. Finish with the J.R.
Anyway, so I see J.R. Smith.
Yep.
I see this clip from J.R. Smith. He's in an interview, and he was saying how influenced we are when we become successful to keep up with everybody else, right? Now you have to have the big house. You got to take care of everybody. You got to buy the jewelry. You got to buy all the big labels. You got to go to the club, and you got to throw $60,000, worth of ones in the club, or you're not perceived as getting to the money and getting to the bag, and you whack, you lame, why are you here with us? And he was like, and I've been guilty. Like, I have been that guy throwing $60,000 in the club, and then moments after, like, why would I do that? And he was saying, we just gotta tighten up like our mindset to the point now. Like he said, I sat and thought about all the people I could have fed with that $60,000, all the people who I could have made a difference in, whose lives I could have made a difference in. And then he talked about, how over time his mindset started to transition, and he'd be in the locker room with his team saying like, yo, nobody, why are we having to go to these gyms? Why are we having to practice in, all these gyms, work out in these gyms, and we're waiting for people to treat us right and give us this dignity and stuff to use their gyms and all these rules? Let's just go build our own. And he's like, I'm in the locker room telling my teammates, like, if you give $250, I give $250, you give $250, you give $250, who's going to stop us? Yeah. Like, what bank wouldn't partner with us to help us get this done? But everybody is like reluctant, like, I don't know about that, but they'll go and blow $250, shopping and on a weekend out having fun. Yeah. And that just brings me back to your point about the peer pressure. And I instantly sent that video to some of my friends and said, like, what can we do right now immediately? Like, what can we do right now immediately to kind of change the conversation? The news is really heavy right now. Yeah. There's so much like heaviness. It's either heaviness or foolishness that's just taking over. Heaviness and foolishness. It's like either we're hearing the worst of the worst news, or we're hearing people who are just making the most ridiculous decisions that are people in leadership. Like, what can we do right now to change the conversation? And not just because it's approaching a certain time of the year, or like, what can we do to consistently drive positivity and changing the conversation? And and I believe in showing gratitude for the success that we have by actually serving the community outside of the podcast and our private communities. Like, how do we peer pressure people into doing something amazing?
Man, I think it's consistency too, because I think we're all being influenced. So if he's telling these people in the locker room, yo, you give me $250, you give me $250, like we put $1 million together, that's one conversation. But the person that he's talking to that doesn't want to give that is being heavily influenced by so many other contacts in their phone. So after the game is over, after they leave the locker room, they're spending more time with that influence. Mm-hmm. So even when you get in a positive environment, it's hard to even see what you're talking about. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't register because this group over here has my influence, has my mind, has my thought process. So even if logically it makes sense, I can't even see it because I'm just not into that. So I think it's very important to watch how we're being influenced. And I think there's probably 3 ways to go about it. You can be influenced in a negative way by negative people. You could be influenced in a positive way by positive people. But if you just get away from everybody, then you're only being influenced by you and your own current level of understanding, your own current level of thinking, which could be super dangerous too. Because now you're telling you what to do when you wouldn't coach you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not the type of person. Let's get her a mic real quick. It's important to be, we were talking about it on the call today. We have to protect our mind, meaning like there's two gates, like our eye gate and our ear gate. We have to protect that with everything we have. And it is a constant fight. It is a constant battle because things are automatically going to go into your eyes, meaning things that you see, especially if you scroll long enough. I had to unfollow everybody on Twitter because I go on Twitter and I see the most heinous things. Y'all on Twitter? I'm like, how did I get porn on my Twitter?
I got off Twitter years ago because it was just porn.
Y'all see, if I follow Reese, you got to think, over the years, I followed a lot of people on Twitter. And if Reese happens to be one of the people that I follow, and I think it even goes deep enough, like if he follows somebody and they like share it, then somehow it ends up on my timeline. If enough people a few levels down start sharing things, it ends up on my timeline.
So it's a pyramid scheme?
It's a pyramid scheme. 100%.
It's a pyramid scheme.
But it's like, we got to be really intentional, man. We can't just walk through life.
We have to be so intentional. Like this productivity, you still got yours?
My what?
Productivity to keep you off Instagram after a certain period of time.
Absolutely.
So I still have mine, but what I have realized is that
I've never disregarded the message.
I've been disregarding it every day for the last week because I've been traveling.
Too?
Disregarding it?
What's the excuse?
So here's what's difficult
Do
for me.
you have it set? Do you have it set? Well, you don't listen to the podcast? Your wife don't listen to podcasts, though? That's what's up? That's
You don't
how
know
y'all
what
do
we're
it in your
talking
household?
Oh, so you're not supporting your man?
Oh, okay.
In spirit.
She carrying that baby. She like this.
She's
all
like,
the
I got
support.
this baby. This is all the support I'm giving.
Did y'all set a limit? No, because you're a social media manager. Have you set a limit? You don't know if you can do it? You got Android. You can.
No, that's not even a valid excuse as a social media manager because you have to factor. Here's what I've realized I have to do.
Yeah, it don't got to be the 2 hours. It'll be whatever, because you're not working 24 the whole time you're on social media.
No, and you set hours. If you need to work 4 hours a day, then you set your alarm for 5 hours. You got 4 hours a day in work, 1 hour for leisure.
Let me see your phone.
No, I'm telling you.
Let me just see it.
No, because mine has been awful. I will tell you why.
Let me just see it.
No, I'm embarrassed.
I'm not going to say anything out loud.
You are.
No, I'm not going to tell you I'm going to not say something and actually say it. Let me just see it.
I'm embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed. Let me see.
I'm
You're
really
on the
embarrassed.
plane. It's all good. Let me just see.
No, it's probably like 22 hours.
You're not on there 22 hours. Let me see. Let me see something real quick.
See. And I've been falling asleep with it on, so it's like not fair right now.
Yo, let me tell y'all
do that?
something super cool, man. So when I open the app, so just recapping, since like the last 3 episodes, on our phone, if you go to settings, iPhone specifically, if you go to settings and you click on screen time and you go to see all activity, you can see how much time you're spending on your apps, right? And when we first did this exercise, we scrolled down to the bottom and we could see that we can put a limit on it, right? And the most used app on my phone was Instagram, and that's probably the most used app on your phone too. Probably. What's yours? Yours YouTube? Oh, YouTube? YouTube, okay. YouTube is, let me see. That is the most used. Okay, go crazy then. I see you. All right, anyway, so my top was.
Yo, mine's looking mad and productive right now. Instagram, messages, music.
Mine's is messages, mail, YouTube, notes, and then Instagram. But when we did it, it was Instagram at the top.
And this is so unfair because, first of all, ain't no way I'm spending 8 hours Oh, okay. Daily, 2 hours and 40 minutes in my text messages, which I think is counting if I just leave the app open.
Let me see.
No. I'm telling you what it is.
I'm not going to say anything. Let me see it.
Instagram, 8 hours.
Your average time is 8 hours.
Yes. But also, this is measuring, listen, this is
What are you doing
measuring,
with your life?
this is measuring the last week when I was traveling on flights and in conferences. So I
don't want to hear your excuses about you have to have Instagram open.
No. Before that, though, I had gotten down to like 3 hours. So I'm really happy. And that's what I was going to say. Like, you have to create these parameters, but you also have to be realistic. If I'm like on a 5-hour flight, I'm for sure on Instagram.
Read a book.
No, because it was nighttime.
Put some plans together.
No, because it was nighttime.
They got a little light in the top.
Nobody had their light on. I'm not going to be the only person sitting in first class with the light on. I'm not going to be that person.
Put that light on.
I'm not putting the light on. I'd be so like.
Or put the light on your phone and read something.
Let me tell. I did. So I had my blanket over my head with my flashlight on, trying to read my book. Side note: don't fall asleep on a plane with AirPods in your ear.
Why?
Woke up and lost them. Lost one of them.
Oh wow. It's cool. You got money. It's all good. All right. We need the microphone. Oh, okay. Go. She had a statement.
I had a comment. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Introduce
I had
yourself.
this comment.
Say your name so they know you are.
Oh, I'm Dr. Kiazula, and I had this comment on, you were asking about the basketball player who told all his teammates who are high earners about all putting in 250, and they didn't do it. And I started wondering, well, why wouldn't they do it? Because they definitely have the means to do it. But then I started thinking about growing up in Brooklyn, where I was around a lot of Jewish and Korean. We were a very mixed neighborhood. And I remember this lady telling me the story about her grandfather in Miami. They didn't allow Jewish people in the hotels at that time in Miami. 2 years later, he came back and bought the hotel. And then I remember working on the ambulance. I brought this Korean lady to dialysis. She didn't have insurance, so they wanted to find out how much it was. And that Korean family came back with a suitcase of the year's worth of dialysis money. So I'm looking at it like, why don't we do that? And I realize it has a lot more to do with cultural indoctrination, because culturally, Jewish and Korean, they look at finances and money and all that differently than the way we've been taught to look at it.
Yeah.
So that could be a big part of why they wouldn't do it.
For sure. But I also think it's based on not only color, right? Because there's a culture being created right now of financial literacy, right? Where maybe our kids have a better chance, but obviously we are so far behind because we, were enslaved for so long, and then we became like a percentage of a human, and then with desegregation, they're like, oh, you can spend your money wherever you want to. And then we have a status symbol that allows us to go out and do whatever we want in a certain freedom. And we want the shiny things to show that I'm not what my parents were. I'm no slave. I'm not a percentage of a human. I am a free man, and I can buy what I want, right? So I think that kind of trickles down into generations, right? So we have a lot of trauma as people that we all have to get over. You know what I mean?
So
we all.
I'm looking here on Apple's community conversation, and it says that screen time does include what's running in the background.
Okay. So all my stuff is running in the background. I'm never out of this because I'm like, there is no way. First of all, I knew it was a lie when it says I spend 2 hours a day in text messages, because I for sure don't. I hardly open that thing. It's the truth. I'm probably in my text messages maybe 30 minutes a day.
No, you don't text a lot?
I don't.
Okay. Here's one thing you probably do. Maybe hit the little button just to check it, make sure you're not hit. I know I do that.
My text messages?
I'm sure
yeah, but not 2 hours a day.
I mean, it's not like you're in there for a few seconds and then they only calculate the seconds. Maybe it's open for a little bit.
No, they calculated just being in the background.
But if that was the case, then my text message would say 24 hours, and that's not the case.
Mine don't be open 24 hours. I try to close stuff out.
I never close my joint. I never close my text.
Look what just popped up. I was on that bad boy for 30 minutes, and now it's in my top apps.
Who was that?
Tinder.
You was in that joint.
I was in Tinder last night for 30 minutes. That's how I fell asleep.
Yeah, man. So, be careful. The environment you're a part of. Okay, you do have to be careful.
You definitely have to be careful.
Yeah, man.
Not only the environments that you're a part of, but the environments that you are the influence over. That's just as important. Like, you could literally be if you're the one in your group, if you're the leader, you could literally be influencing your circle to gossip all day, smoke hookah all day, or read books and improve yourself all day.
100%.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything on that? Before I go to something weird? No? Y'all good? Okay. All right. No. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to hear about your yes.
You were stressing me out.
What? What'd I do?
What's up with you?
What'd I do?
Before I go to something weird, you know what? Nope, never mind.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay.
I did want to hear about your travel schedule because you've been doing a lot, and that's not like you to travel that much.
Not that much.
I was getting concerned almost.
Were you?
Yeah.
Tell me for real.
Yeah.
Why didn't you call me and tell me that?
Cause on your Instagram seemed lit. So, but I don't know. I don't know. It just seemed like something was off. Like, yo, you're going here and there, and like you're moving around. And I know that's not your normal MO like that.
Well, you probably didn't realize it was an MO because I was traveling previously a certain way, doing the very same things.
Yes.
So it looked a little different.
It looked a little different.
Yes. So this is my MO. It just looks different now. I had to find different people to do these kind of things with.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
And I'm not gonna say nothing.
You not gonna say nothing?
No.
No.
No, I wasn't gonna like go into it, but yes, okay, that makes sense.
No. So, and yes. So
Oh, the joint with you're gonna like this. Before I forget. Nah, go ahead.
No,
okay, anyway,
say
California. We're gonna do the kids event again.
December.
Yeah.
I need the date. I go to Bermuda in December too.
December what?
15th through 17th.
Oh, nah, it's earlier than that.
Okay, cool. So, yes, I've been traveling a lot. I've been traveling the last 6 weeks, on and off, back and forth, going to conferences and things like that. So I am really, really big in continued education. And I love going to conferences and learning. One of the benefits of, shameless plug, being coached by me or mentored by me is that I go to these conferences, and you do it too. We go to these conferences and we cannot wait to come back and share all the information that we've learned. And
good,
so, yeah, I already had like 3 conferences and or workshops that were on my agenda. And then Milan invited me to 2 invite-only conferences as well. So those were 2 that were not on my calendar. And maybe if I had known about those prior to, there could have been 2 that I would swapped it out for. It's not my MO to like be back-to-back traveling that much. And then every 6 weeks still, like every 6 to 8 weeks, I travel to go somewhere, whether it's 2 days, 3 days, whatever, to just rest and reset. I am excited to be home for a couple of weeks and not travel. Traveling is really fun. It is an experience in which you learn the most during travel, but it is so exhausting.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And when I tell you, I could not wait. Like when I'm traveling, I love it. Like, oh my God, we're so blessed and this is so awesome. But the moment I hit that flight and I'm on my way back home, it's like, I cannot wait. I walked in my house day before yesterday, and was like, thank you, God. I just want to sit here. I sat on my sofa and just sat there the whole day to like look around. Cause I just moved in my place and I haven't even really been there. Yeah. So,
Good.
Yeah.
But all of the information that you're gathering, does it make it difficult to execute?
Yes, normally. So the conferences and things that I've been going to are very intentional. So one of them was a workshop that you and I went to, and that was for a very intentional thing. And it's in the process of getting executed on. One of them was the Inc. 5000 conference that was recognizing, Inc. 5000 recognizes the fastest growing companies, 5,000 fastest growing companies in the United States. That was one of the private events. Milan made that list, so I went as her guest.
Do you remember when you thought Inc. 500 meant you had 500 employees?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, exactly. That was like our first interview together. You don't remember that?
No idea what you're talking about. Anyway, so I remember an episode in which we both couldn't define. I don't coach those. I didn't at that time coach those business owners. So neither of us.
No, I was just saying it was a full circle moment. Proud of you.
So this was the Inc. 5000 list. And so there, when I went to that event, I was really going to be her plus one to see her be honored and all this stuff. It just turned out that the conference was freaking amazing, right? Like they had all these fastest growing companies there that I think I shared this on Social Proof last time and on Full Transparency, everything that I learned from that conference. And so that one was really about like mindset and practical strategies as well. But that one for me was more of a like, okay, I've heard this before. I've got these things written down. Let me go hard. And sometimes it's about being in the room and what that does for you. I left that conference, came home for a couple of days, went to Phoenix to meet you at our systems workshop that we had going on. That was that. And I left there to go to Palm Springs for the EY, the Ernst & Young Strategic Growth Forum. First of all, it's hands down the best conference I've ever witnessed in my life.
Why didn't you invite me?
That was because I thought it was a women's event. That was the one that I thought was a women's event until I got there. Huh?
Lemire was going.
I thought he was going to support Milan.
I don't like it. I don't like what's going on.
And I did tell you, actually.
You told me when we were in Phoenix. And you said I'm getting on a plane to go.
Yeah, but I had just
I want to know when you make the
days,
decision.
Couple of days before that. In fact, it was in Phoenix that I purchased my flight. I purchased my flight in Phoenix.
I want to know when you know.
Okay, that's fair. Can I know when you know?
I don't go nowhere.
You do be going places.
I don't go nowhere.
Anyway, so I went to the EY conference. Hands down, the best produced conference I've ever attended. Schedule ran on time.
Wow.
On time. Okay. On time. The whole hotel, they took over the JW Garden Resort or some desert resort. The logo in the driveway as you pull up, the front door of the hotel, like the hotel shuts down for them. That's how many people are there. It's a huge resort. Hotel shuts down. They're branded from the front door, all the windows, every hallway. You walk into the lobby, they've got their logos and symbols. They've got these digital kiosks that you register at, like the check-in booths at the airport. They've got those to get registered at. There is no sneaking in their conference. There's like 100 people on staff. Where's your badge? Where's your badge? Where's your this? Where's your that? No, that way, that way. Nope, that way. It was so well, snacks galore. There's no snacks for VIP. Snacks are for everybody. Oh, wow. Like the good water in the metal bottles. And, it was
podcast summit. Don't get no ideas, okay?
I have some ideas. I'm coming with some ideas. But
you said that idea. Can we talk about it on here?
No, this is private. You know how they have the registration desks? So the registration desks at the hotel, they took those over. Their staff registering you to give you your lanyards and your jackets and lanyards. I'm sorry, not lanyards. Your lanyards and your jackets and all that stuff. I said, they wallpapered the walls. They wallpapered with their colors. Like everything was branded. It was amazing. But even more incredible than that, it was the first time I had been in a conference with all these people who had built billion-dollar companies, like billion-dollar companies. It was the most success I'd seen in one room. And the highlight for me was meeting one of the women that I admire most, Tracy Ellis Ross. If you ever look at my stories, you know that's my BFF. I'm obsessed with her. I love me some Tracy Ellis Ross. So I shot to the front of the room. I'm sitting front stage. Like, I could smell Tracy. Like, that's how close I was, right? I love this woman so much. And I'm not like one of those people who fan out a whole lot. Like at a conference, I walk past Diddy and everybody's like, stop, take a picture. I'm like, I got to use the bathroom. Like, I'm good. I would have peed on myself if I had to use the bathroom if it meant that I wasn't going to get to see Tracy Ellis Ross. That's how much I fanned completely out for this woman. So I'm sitting on stage and she says something and I interact and like, you know, I'm interacting and she spoke to me.
Really?
She acknowledged me.
You manifested this.
I did. First, I really did because Milan originally...
Yeah, that was manifested.
No, I really did.
Yeah, she did.
Milan originally said, hey, you know, this is a conference. I'm being honored. Just come. So because we had a lot to debrief about from the previous conference that we had just left. So she's like, just come and this will be our trip. We can just debrief because Lemire was already her +1, right? So I sent her a text message and I got to post it. I'm going to make a reel of it. I sent her a text and said, I don't know what we got to do. I don't care what we got to do. I have to meet Tracy Ellis Ross. The end. Period. And so she's like, well, I already told you, you know, you can't come to the conference. I only got one ticket. So anyway, get there. We're able to get me a wristband. It's private. And then I meet the person who's over the conference and we're able to get me a lanyard to attend. And I get there, I get to see Tracy. She has a mini exchange with me. Y'all, I'm recording her. When she does that, I drop my phone. I literally turned around and was like, she spoke to me. The tears started pouring out of my face. Such a fan of I love this woman so much. I could not freaking believe. I was like, she spoke to me and the tears. And so the lady, I was so bold. I went and sat at the reserve table, which was for like the founders of the event. I'm sitting at this chair. Look, I got to sit here, right? So when they saw, like the whole room was really happy for me because clearly I'm a fan. She gets up and she comes back and she whispers over something to Milan. Milan was sitting right behind me. And after Tracy was done, Milan was like, she went and got you passes. She went and got us passes so you could go back there and meet Tracy. And I got to like meet her, talk to her, hug her. I hugged her like 3 times. Wow. That was incredible, the highlight probably of my whole year. Wow. I love that woman so much. Clearly. She's like me. She's my big sis. She's my best friend. Me and Tracy Ellis Ross are the same person. I mean, except we're not the same person. You know what I mean? Only small details. But that's minor. We're the same person. And yeah, so anyway, that was that.
So takeaways, like
Tracy Ellis Ross.
I understand. Yeah, I get it. But for you, what?
Tracy Ellis Ross. My biggest takeaway was Tracy Ellis Ross.
Uncup your hands. Oh my gosh. From this whole experience of traveling, who is Donni now?
Tired today. Donni is tired.
Looking for a better answer.
But Donni is, let me talk. Y'all kill him in the comments for trying to control my conversation.
You're not giving me what I'm looking for.
Donni is, I'm so inspired. I am so inspired. Like, I've never been around so many people who are building at this level, right? So it's just like, there are levels to this and we are doing amazing things, but there's so much more for us to aspire to. Reese Witherspoon talked about how she sold a portion of her company, right? I heard the Allie Webb, the founder of Dry Bar, she talked about how she sold just the product line of her company for $250 million, but she still retained a major ownership portion, major equity in the company. Like, at one point, we were ready to risk it all for $30 million. Like, you know, there are levels to this, and just seeing these people who are talking about, they talk about the same things we talk about. I felt like we're on the right track.
What's the difference between them and us?
I think the difference between them and us, well, there's several differences. So some of these, like the Reese Witherspoons and the Tracy Ellis Ross, they have celebrity behind them, right? Reese Witherspoon is someone who commands Hollywood and she can make things happen. Though she's had her obstacles. Tracy Ellis Ross is the daughter of Diana Ross, and she has her own very notable career. So I believe they have celebrity behind them, but even Tracy Ellis Ross talked about all the challenges that she had when she talked about creating her hair care line for natural hair called Pattern, how everybody told her, don't just focus on people with textured hair. You've got to make a product line for everybody if you really want to be successful. And she's like, no, I'm standing on this. I can't find products for me. The people with hair like me are who I'm making these products for. And she talked about the doors that she had to kick through in order to make things shake and happen for her. One thing that I realized at this conference is they speak like us. We knew this, but it was just like so obvious. People who are at a higher level, they're talking about the things that we're talking about. They are interested in the same things that we're talking about or that we're interested in. They're building business just like we're building business. The conversations are just deeper. Many of these companies don't have social media presence, like they suck on social media, just like completely. And when they find out that, I do podcasting and all this stuff, they want to know how we do what we do. And I'm like, no, not here. I want to know how you do what you do, right? And everybody's just trying to figure it out. One of the biggest debates that I sat in at this EY conference was the debate about remote work. And I'm sitting in here with these 8-figure plus companies who are trying to figure out how to manage a remote team. Like you think they got it all figured out. And they're going back and forth, and they're talking about now how much of their workforce is begging them to come back into the office at least 2 or 3 days a week because they're just getting bored out of their minds. And you're realizing you don't meet anybody. You don't have any social skills. You're not meeting people because where do you usually practice social skills at? Work. So we had, those kind of conversations. And a big takeaway, I said this last week before I had gone to EY based on the Inc. 5000 conference, but as of now going to both of them, success was attributed to mindset. But here, everybody who took the stage shouted out their spouse. I wouldn't have done X, Y, and Z if I didn't have him or if I didn't have her behind me, supporting. And it was a constant theme. Like, what's your cheat code? Like someone was literally directly asked, what's your cheat code? My wife. Wow. Wow. And it's because of the in-home accountability that you have. Some of us don't have that kind of partnership in our marriages, right? But if you do, it's like the in-home accountability. It's like you can't wake up slacking with this kind of person, this kind of man, or this kind of woman laying next to you. It forces you to do more. Some of these spouses are taking huge interests in the business and actually helping to move the needle along. It's like, okay, you work, but you're not social. Let me come in and help you be social. Let me handle the social aspect so you can work the deal on the back end, but let me forge the relationship. Every single last one of them gave thanks and credit to their spouse for contributing in some way. That's
dope. I can actually say that my wife has really turned up the booking, like the clubhouse. Right? She can't. I don't know what she did, and she's not a traditional entrepreneur, but she put some stuff in place where it's going down here. I was like, yo, it's bookings all the time, and she got bookings every week, and I'm like, yo, this is incredible. I have no idea what she did, and so shouts out to my wife, which means we'll be a billionaire. So. Yeah, no, and so the biggest part of my takeaway after all of that, I was sharing some highlights, but my biggest part of the takeaway is, seriously, if we want to be billionaires, we can. We're doing everything that we have to do to plan for billionaire. We just have to choose it. Like, you got to make a decision. Do you want to be a billionaire or not? And then everything that we're doing, 10X it. 10X it. Like, think about it. I know I'm not operating at 100%. Nah, not even close. I'm not even operating. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because I know how much more I could have and have achieved by now if I were even operating at 50%. Most people, there was some statistic, I'll have to find it, I'll send it to you, aren't even operating at 15%.
So if you have what you have right now operating at 10% of what you, and not just you, is you and your whole organization, so the whole team, if at 15% you have this, what happens if you give it 50% of your best effort?
Man, yeah, I was talking to Dewan. And he got like an invite, and I don't know if I can share. He got an invite by Gary Vee to come to the office.
Yeah.
And he had a meeting with Gary Vee. He said, that man is a machine.
Yeah.
He said, yo, Dewan went in there, like he like recorded his content or whatever, but like he's talking to Gary. As soon as he's done, he said, yo, he said like some screen fell down. He had to do this meeting. As soon as that one was over, his assistant brought over a laptop, and he locked into that computer and that meeting. He was like, yo, it was not, he said there's no time wasted. So, I mean, it's just one of those habits. We got to start operating at a greater percent. All right, man, we got to go, Donni.
Now, I was trying to find, how old is Gary Vee?
He got to be 50 something, right? The age. Gary
My
Vee
internet's
is 48.
not working. 48 years old.
Yo, but you know who does the same thing? Grant Cardone.
He's
Yo,
a
he's
machine.
a machine.
He's a machine.
And that man is 65 years old.
He is a machine.
Going on. Tony Robbins is 63. Dang, Simon Sinek is 50. I didn't know. Wow, this is interesting.
So the age, this post, there's one that's always shared, but also what I noticed is that the people who I saw on stage that were extremely admirable were significantly older, that had built these billion-dollar companies. And there's so many people who feel like, though there were some young people in there who've got tremendous 8-figure businesses, age is literally nothing but a number. And I just saw this come across this morning. Christian Dior started Dior at 41 years old. Sam Walton with Walmart, 44 years old. GoDaddy, Bob Parsons, 47 years old. Adidas, the founder of it, 48 years old. E-Trade was founded by Bill Porter. He was 63 years old. KFC, Colonel Sanders, 62 years old. Henry Ford was 49 years old. Home Depot, founded by Bernie Marcus, 49 years old. Ray Kroc, McDonald's, 52 years old. Like, age is literally nothing but a number.
Yo, look at this. The average millionaire is 57 years old.
Average millionaire, 57 years old.
You know, I think we can attribute all of that to the fact that it takes time to become the person, not the business. It just takes time to become someone. Get all that playing out your system. Get all the clubs out your system. Get all the neck. You realize that the people that you thought had your back, they don't. And you start to realize who you need to have in your circle.
Yeah.
Right. So it just takes a little while to learn how to become that.
It takes time, but you know, also what it highlighted for me is that coaching is really the cheat code. Because a lot of these people didn't have coaches per se, maybe some mentors. But think about how many, and if you cut through and filter through millionaires like that we actually know, that we know are we know some that are in their 30s. We even know a couple that are in their 20s, right? That have made millions of dollars. A lot of them have coaches. A lot of them have mentorships. A lot of them have just figured it out on their own, so they think, but they were watching the YouTube videos. They were looking at the social media posts. They were buying courses and doing stuff on their own. So even too, they had a degree of coaching and mentorship, but it to me was like, you know what? We did it before 50. We did it before 60 years old, and we still have so much time. But I know I didn't do it without coaching and mentorship. And you just have an opportunity now where, whether you want to or not, you can collapse the time frame.
That's a fact.
It's normal for it to take so long or take that long, but it doesn't have to.
That's a fact. Listen, y'all, if y'all enjoyed this, I need you to comment, share, like, add some stars, subscribe. Are you subscribed to Social Proof Podcast on your Apple device? Sal, what's going on? Are you at least subscribed to Growing Pains?
Deja.
Wow. Okay. Hey guys, listen, it is free to support. And the best way that we can support is you can hit that little subscribe button on your Apple device or your Spotify device, or leave a little comment in the comment section. So I gotta go. Oh, these shoes by Celebrity. Jordan wore these, I think. These is 2s. These are Jordan 2s.
He didn't wear them all?
Not every color. Not every color.
But every style.
Yeah, for sure. Celebrity, well, unless it went to a higher number after his
So for clarity, Jordan didn't wear those.
No, he wore
that
these.
style.
I think he wore this color.
No, he wore that style.
How do you know?
He didn't wear those. He didn't put his foot in that shoe.
I'm a 14. He might be a different size shoe.
Well,
What
but
are
you got to
talking
be
about?
clear. Jordan wore the style, not Jordan wore these.
Spoken like a true person just likes sneakers and not a sneakerhead. Because a person that understands sneakers
This is true. I never
knows
claimed to be
why
a
would he wear
sneakerhead.
why would he wear this
I
shoe?
enjoy sneakers.
When I say he wore these shoes, it's that style and color.
He shook his head when I. Did you not shake your head?
You thought he wore this shoe, this size 14? Yeah. If you wear like Jordan 1s, like the bread, black and red, he wore those.
So we have taken
Not the
you
one on my
all
feet.
around the world in this episode of the Social Proof Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are so happy that you took the time to share this moment with us. Comment right now what your biggest takeaway was. What'd you get from this episode? And are you on your way to your Billy?
I'm going home. All right, y'all. Peace.
Bye.
If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.